Flora here. I'm here to do a non-spoiler review of two Owl Crate books. The first Owl Crate book that I'm going to talk about was the April book, and it was a dystopian-themed novel. So the book is Flawed by Cecilia Ahern. This book I really liked. I gave it like 4.5 stars. It was actually really, really good. And I always say this, like I've said this a few times on my channel. I really love dystopian novels. I just don't read enough of them. But it's just like it's not a fun, but like it's just a very, very quick paced read. The back of the novel says, I can't be flawed, and I'm perfect. So the book follows this character named Cesteline, but I could be wrong. And she lives in this society where you have like a legal court and then you have a moral court. And they're not like really like linked, but you can be accused of being immoral even if you don't commit a crime, basically. So she has basically the perfect life. She has a perfect boyfriend. She's like, all these things. She wants to go to school to be something involved in mathematics. She basically has the perfect life. But the thing in this society is once you're accused of being flawed, you have to abide by certain rules, and some of them, it's very much like segregation, I'll say. Like, if you read it, it has a lot of undertones of that, which I think what the author is trying to say. And this is like the first few chapters, so I'm really not giving anything away. But in a situation happens where Ceceline feels like she's compelled to help a flawed. And that sets in term a course of events that shatters her world, like just shatters it into a million pieces. And it's so interesting. Like, I really loved, I grew to really like enjoy the character. Like, I really, really liked her. And I thought it was really, really interesting. This book really was one of the first dystopian novels I've read in a while that didn't harp on the romantic love triangle. There is like a possibility of it in the next book, but it's not like in your face because one of the characters, it's only like you see figments of him throughout the novel. So it's really, really cool. I really, really like that part of it. But the political intrigue and the political corruption in this book really was so, so fascinating. And Celestine finds herself in the company of some people that you would not expect. Some people that want to help her that I think is just really, really unique and really, really different. Her family at times reminded me sometimes of the characters in the Hunger Games, the family she's put into. But it's a very, very interesting dynamic that is created. And there is like whistleblowers. It's just a really, really cool, the world that was created in this was really, really fascinating, and I really, really liked it. I like that it was steeped in reality. A lot of these dystopian novels, sometimes that you get really have like fantastical powers or magic or like, fighting, like the Hunger Games. This book was really steeped in reality, and it answered a lot of questions about what happens when what is morally right in the world you consider to be morally wrong. And it's just so fascinating. There's like a little hint of like the Scarlet Letter in here. It was just a really, 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 really good book. It was fast-paced. I loved it. And I cannot wait for the sequel because it left off kind of on like a really big cliffhanger. And the book is going to change. The world that this character in is going to change dramatically in the second book. So I really, really want to see where it goes. And there was so many things lying underneath the surface. It was like a step up. And this is like, I say this every once in a while, this book really needed to be a series, because I think that this book was slow. Like, it was a very, very slow moving novel. So when you got to the end, you're like, okay, now I want to know what happens next. So that's kind of how it was like a slow burn novel, and I'm ready to see when the spark goes in the next book, like what happens to these characters. But overall, I really, really liked it. I enjoyed it. I give this book 4 stars. If I highly recommend you check it out. I know this is her first YA series. I know she's written a lot for adults, like P.S. I Love You and Love Rosie, but I really, really enjoyed this book. It was great. And then the next book I read was the May book, which was steampunk themed, and it is Everland by Wendy Spinella. Can we just admire this cover, guys? It is stunning. I love this book. I gave this book like 4.5 stars. It was spectacular. I went into it like a little bit hesitant. I wasn't all that excited about it, but I really, really liked it. It's basically a reimagining of the Neverland Story, but it's the Neverland Story told in a society. This is one of my pet peeves with this novel. I'm not quite sure if it's told in the present or in the past. Like, I'm not totally sure what story it is, so it might be a present, it might be past. I'm thinking it's more a past novel, but I could be wrong. And these characters basically have a nuclear attack, and from this nuclear attack, a virus is released into the environment that basically kills off all the adults. So it's basically like the Maze Runner, kind of, meets Divergent, meets, it's, you know, something with like a virus. Cinder, like the Lunar Chronicles, a very, very deadly virus. But this virus only, it kills everybody basically, but the adults go first. So you follow this family named, what's her name? Her name is Gwen. And Gwen has a brother and a sister, and she is basically on the run from Captain Hook. And Captain Hook is an older teenager who is coming from the conquering party, and his mother is the Blood Red Queen. And he's basically trying to figure out a way to not only find out how to cure this disease, but also to make his mother happy. And then there's Pete, Bella, and the Lost Boys. And these are all the children that are left, that have survived. And for many, many whiles, they think that children are immune to this disease. So that's where the Lost Boys come in. But I just can't say enough about this novel. It was just so cute, so fun. Not cute, but it was just like a very, very fast-paced story. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was quick-witted. I thought it was funny. I love the relationships that happen between the characters. I love, like, if you've heard of Peter Pan, obviously, you know the basic Neverland story. But I thought it took it and, like, really, like, twisted it in, like, a unique and different way that I haven't really read or heard about before. But it was so, so much fun. I really, really enjoyed it. The story was a little bit predictable at points. There were some things that I was like, oh, well, that's going to happen. And then I turned out to be totally right, which was great. There was some things that really did catch me off guard. And the ending, again, it left on a really, really big cliffhanger. So these probably are I normally, read my owl crates and then I get rid of them. But I'm probably going to have to keep these just because they are the start of a series. And I want to have them. So some of my friends might be getting to read them in the meantime. But it was just, these books were so much fun. So they were both just really, really fast paced. Thank you, Owl Crate. I say this in every video. They really spend so much time and so much effort really putting together such amazing boxes, and I love every single minute of them. I'm finally almost caught up. I just have to read 2 more books and then I'm fully caught up. But yeah, those are my thoughts about Flawed and Everland. The book, I gave them both 4 and 4.5 stars. Very, very strong novels. As always, comment below. Let me know if you guys are an Owl Crate subscriber. What do you think of their subscription service? Like my book like vlogs, like my Facebook page, like my Twitter. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.